Haddonfield, Illinois, had always been a quiet, unassuming town, until the night of October 30th, 1978. A legend of terror was born when MichaelMyers, a man once institutionalized for brutally murdering his sister at the age of 6, escaped Smith's Grove Sanitarium. His psychiatrist, Dr. Samuel Loomis, had long warned of Michael's true nature. Loomis described him as pure evil, a being devoid of humanity, driven only by an insatiable urge to kill. Michael's killing spree began as the sun set on Halloween night. Cloaked in darkness, he stalked the suburban streets in his featureless white mask, his cold eyes scanning for victims. There was no logic, no pattern, just the chaos of murder. Women, men, teenagers, no one was safe from his blade. The brutality of his attacks left bodies torn and mutilated, their lives snuffed out with no hint of remorse or hesitation. He moved through Haddonfield like a force of nature, leaving nothing but carnage in his wake. Unbeknownst to the people of Haddonfield, something else stirred in the skies above the small town. A Yautja Predator, drawn to earth by tales of this nightmarish figure's carnage, descended. The Predator had witnessed many forms of violence in its lifetime, but MichaelMyers' indiscriminate slaughter disturbed it. Yautja hunted for honor, selecting only the strongest, most dangerous prey, those capable of fighting back. To the Predator, Michael's killing spree represented cowardice, a violation of the Yautja's strict code of honor. As it watched from the shadows, cloaked in its advanced technology, the Predator grew increasingly disgusted by Michael's senseless murders. The unarmed victims, women and innocents he slaughtered held no value in the eyes of the Yautja. MichaelMyers was powerful, yes, but there was no honor in the way he chose his prey. The Predator saw him not as a worthy opponent, but as a dangerous force that needed to be eliminated. As midnight approached and Halloween night began to fade into the early hours of November 1st, the Predator made its move. Michael, fresh from his latest kill, was quietly stalking through the suburban streets when he sensed a presence, something unlike any human. He stopped, turning his head slowly, listening to the night around him. From the rooftops, the Predator watched. It scanned Michael, assessing his strength and abilities, determining the best approach. This wasn't an ordinary hunt. MichaelMyers was an enigma, a killer with a near supernatural resilience to pain and injury. But he was also a threat to the balance that the Predator sought to maintain. He had to be stopped. Without warning, the Predator launched its first attack. A plasma blast from its shoulder cannon erupted, aimed at Michael's back. But to the Predator's surprise, Michael sidestepped, moving with an unnatural swiftness. The blast missed by mere inches, striking a tree and causing it to explode in a shower of bark and debris. Michael turned toward the source of the attack, his blank mask concealing any reaction. In his hand, he gripped a bloody kitchen knife, the weapon that had claimed so many lives that night. For the first time, he found himself facing an enemy unlike any he had ever encountered. The fight between MichaelMyers and the Predator was a clash of two unstoppable forces. From the moment the first strike was thrown, it became clear this was no ordinary confrontation. The Predator, with its advanced technology, cloaking device, and an array of deadly weapons, was a seasoned hunter, accustomed to stalking the most dangerous prey across the galaxy. But MichaelMyers was unlike anything the Yautja had ever encountered, a creature of sheer willpower, driven by a silent, insidious evil that made him almost impervious to pain. The Predator began the battle with precision strikes, relying on its plasma cannon to disorient and wound Michael. A blast from the shoulder-mounted weapon scorched the pavement as it barely missed Michael's head, leaving a molten crater behind. The Predator leaped from rooftop to rooftop, moving swiftly, staying one step ahead as Michael trudged forward, unrelenting. Its cloaking device flickered, hiding its presence from Michael's view, but it didn't stop the masked killer's advance. Michael wasn't just a man, he was a force of nature, and no matter how many times the Predator struck, he would not fall. The battle grew more intense as they moved through the suburban streets of Haddonfield, their fight tearing through backyards, smashing through fences, and crashing into homes. The Predator tried to keep its distance, utilizing its ranged weaponry, but Michael closed the gap with surprising speed. His knife slashed through the air, clashing with the Predator's gauntlets, metal scraping against metal. Each blow from Michael's hand was filled with terrifying strength, knocking the Predator off balance several times. The Predator shifted tactics, switching to its wrist blades. With a feral growl, it lunged at Michael, the twin blades extending from its wrist in a deadly arc. The first strike slashed across Michael's chest, drawing blood. The second swipe aimed for his throat, but Michael blocked the blow with his knife, sparks flying as the blades collided. Michael's silent stare never wavered, his mask reflecting the predator's glowing yellow eyes. There was no fear, no hesitation in him, just pure, calculated violence. They fought like beasts, tearing through the environment around them. The predator unleashed a barrage of attacks, but Michael moved with eerie precision, dodging and deflecting each strike. With each step forward, Michael's unrelenting determination became more evident, as if nothing in the universe could stop him from getting closer to his prey. He grabbed the predator by the throat at one point, his grip like iron, lifting the Yautja off the ground and throwing it through the wall of a nearby house. The crash echoed through the street as the predator recovered, shocked by the raw strength of the human, or what it had assumed was human. In the chaos, Michael seemed to anticipate the predator's every move. Even as the Yautja tried to outmaneuver him with its cloaking and advanced weaponry, Michael responded with ruthless efficiency, using the environment to his advantage. The predator's spear, launched at Michael with deadly speed, was knocked away effortlessly. Its net launcher, which had ensnared countless prey in the past, barely slowed him down. Each of the predator's high-tech gadgets seemed futile against the unstoppable juggernaut that was MichaelMyers. The battle reached its crescendo as the two combatants crashed through the woods on the outskirts of town. The trees loomed like silent sentinels, and the moonlight cast long shadows as the predator attempted to regroup. It activated its thermal vision, but Michael's heat signature was faint, his cold, emotionless nature extending even to his physical presence. This unnerved the predator, which was used to relying on such technology to gain the upper hand in hunts. For the first time in the Yautja's long history, it began to question whether it was hunting a man or something more. Frustrated, the predator launched a flurry of attacks, striking with its wrist blades and plasma caster in rapid succession. Michael, now bleeding from multiple gashes, continued his relentless approach. He swung his knife with brutal precision, landing a deep cut across the predator's torso. The Yautja growled in pain, the acidic green blood seeping from the wound, but it was undeterred. It tackled Michael, pinning him to the ground as it activated its self-destruct sequence, prepared to end the fight in one final explosion. But Michael, with a surge of inhuman strength, broke free from the predator's grip and stabbed it in the side with his knife. The predator roared in pain and fury, the countdown on its wrist device, faltering as it deactivated the self-destruct, realizing that Michael would not go down easily. The fight continued, both warriors pushing each other to their physical and mental limits. At last, the struggle brought them to an old, decrepit bridge overlooking a lake. The predator, bleeding and damaged, made one final lunge, slashing at Michael with its wrist blades. Michael staggered but remained upright, his cold eyes locked on the predator. With one powerful strike, the predator drove its blade deep into Michael's chest. This time, the blow was decisive. Michael, now severely wounded, stumbled backward toward the edge of the bridge. With a final, blood-chilling glare, Michael fell. His body plunged into the dark, icy waters below. The predator watched as the water churned and rippled, unsure if its foe was truly dead. The predator stood at the edge of the bridge, watching as Michael's body was dragged down by the current into the depths of the lake. For a moment, the Yautja's vision remained focused on the water, its thermal sensors scanning for any sign of movement. But there was nothing. Only silence. Satisfied that the dishonorable killer had been eliminated, the predator turned away, activating its cloaking device as it disappeared into the night. Haddonfield once again fell into a quiet, eerie stillness, the nightmare of Halloween seemingly over. But the water beneath the bridge continued to ripple gently, disturbed by something unseen. Had MichaelMyers truly met his end, or had the embodiment of evil survived yet again? The answer would remain a mystery, leaving Haddonfield haunted by the possibility that the shape of evil could rise once more. As the Yautja departed, one thing was certain: some creatures could never truly be killed.